Hello, everybody. I would just like to say welcome. you know, this was okay. I should just preface this by saying, I'm just ranting and I have no intention of trimming the audio at all. So if I just sort of ramble and you can't really follow, sorry. Anyway, I should preface this by saying, obviously, do not watch this if you want to watch Attack on Titan with like a virgin experience of Attack on Titan because that's what I had, and it was literally so fire, and I've been crying because I've been thinking about how I'm literally never going to have that experience again. Like it's once in a lifetime to go into a show like that, especially one like Attack on Titan, which is completely no knowledge. So firstly, I only watched Attack on Titan because I saw a clip of Levi murdering the Beast Titan the first time when, like Erwin's there and he's like, we have to fight or we lose. And then, he throws the rocks and everybody fucking dies. But I saw Levi go fucking insane on that Beast Titan and I said, dog, sign mama up, sign mama up. And I would just like to start by saying, let's talk about Aaron Yeager. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Aaron Yeager is probably one of the most easy to hate characters that I've ever seen. I mean, even from the get go, if you like Aaron when he's like a kid and he's like crying all the time and doing all this reckless, irresponsible shit and like treating Mikasa poorly, then that's your cup of tea, man. But it's not mine, okay? It's not mine. Now, Aaron, I hated him. Up until season 4, I absolutely hated Aaron. And the reason is because I feel like he was so irresponsible with the power that he had. And yes, he tried to keep Mikasa and Armin mostly off the front lines, but he also was very selfish and bullheaded and strong willed to a fault. He was told from the time that he was basically 15 or 14 that he was like the only hope for humanity. And I think that it gave him this huge ego and this, you know, and until he touched Historia and like saw everything, I think that he was just a bullheaded kid with no idea what the hell he was actually doing. But then season 4 happened and I was like, "Oh shit." Like Aaron's like dark chud Aaron. Like he turned into this horrible like broody bastard. And I was like, "You know what? That's the most realistic thing I could see happen." Cuz obviously at that point we don't know that like he's seen his father's memories and he knows how this is going to end. He knows what he's going to have to do. We don't know that yet. So like when I saw that and I was like, "Oh damn, okay, Dark Chud Aaron, like it makes sense when you fight something, when you fight a conflict. He's been fighting it for what, like 9 years. When you fight a conflict for 9 years with absolutely like basically zero progress from start to finish, and at first you're responsible for this tiny little world, and then suddenly, oh shit, the world is fucking massive and I'm still responsible for all of it, because now he's responsible for not just the Eldians on Paradise Island, but he's also responsible for the Eldians everywhere else in the whole world, like refugees in different countries, the people in Marley. And so it makes sense to me that he would eventually just abandon all hope and be like, dude, the only way that I can actually like give my friends a life and like save some people is by murdering them all. I'm not saying genocide is right. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying when you get to that point, it makes sense that he would think that because he'd been, you know, forced into this position from a young age. I mean, not forced, but definitely like, well, kind of forced with the Attack Titan. But, you know, he's eaten friends. He's killed friends. He watched his best friend, he watched Armin get incinerated alive and then brought back after fighting for his life against Levi. It's just insane to me that like anybody could ever look at Aaron's switch up and think that it was unexpected. I don't know. I think it makes perfect sense. And I also think it makes perfect sense for Aaron to say, "No, I don't want Mikasa to move on. I want her to pine after me for 10 years." Yeah, of course you do, Aaron. Because you're selfish. Aaron has always loved selfishly, and that's why he turns to genocide. That and like the lack of hope and whatever else. But I really think that Aaron's love is so selfish. He wants his cake and he wants to eat it too, and he doesn't really, that's why he does what he does. And I don't hate him. I don't hate you, Aaron Yeager. I don't hate you at all for that. I did hate you when you were a whiny little kid and you cried all the time and you almost got Levi killed like 1,000 times and you killed like his entire elite squad and Mikasa like jumped into a mouth of a titan for you. And it's just like, I just think Aaron loves selfishly. And the only time that I ever saw him be any sort of selfless was in like the first season when he saves Armin and like jumps into a titan's mouth for him. Like that and like him telling Mikasa to stay in her post and not to abandon it because it's dangerous. And, just stuff like that is like Aaron is just so desperate, I think, that he just does shit. I don't know. I don't know how to articulate what I'm feeling, but I just think that he is misunderstood and like the genocide, because don't you think if he's reliving the exact same life over and over and over again, which is definitely implied, that he would have tried to figure out a different solution by now? I mean, he even said he's tried to change it. He's tried to do stuff differently, and this is the only way that he can save any of humanity is by murdering 80% of them and giving his friends basically hero privileges. But that's not even how it really goes. And so I just loved how realistic Attack on Titan was in the way that it was like, yes, we can wipe out the entire world. We can kill everyone in the world and leave 20% of people alive. And you know what's still going to be going on? Prejudice, oppression, fucking mindless rage, because that's just how people are. Because what we can't understand or what we don't experience ourselves, we are so confused by. And I just think that's so interesting that people will mindlessly kill each other over something as ridiculous as, well, how do we know that you can't turn into a titan? How do we know? And then Armin's like, are you serious, dude? Like, if I could turn into a titan, don't you think I would and kill you all? Get off my freaking crack, brother. And it's just like, I loved the ending of Attack on Titan for that reason. The reason that it was like, yes, we did all this. Yes, Mikasa lost the person that she loves. Yes, Aaron's dead. And yes, we wiped out 80% of the population, but guess what? It still fucking sucks. Everything is exactly the fucking same. We solved absolutely nothing by curing the Eldians of their titanism or whatever you want to call it. We literally solved nothing. This was for nothing because now it's just going to repeat itself. And it's just the same thing is going to happen again and again and again and again and again. And I just loved that. I was telling my friend I was watching it with, I told him, like, if it doesn't end in a horrible, twisted, fucked up time loop, then I will actually denounce it. I will denounce it. I also think having Mikasa and Eren live happily ever after would have made no sense because their love was so toxic and consuming that of course it was like, hello, that's never gonna work. Hello. Let's address the elephant in the room. Levi Ackerman, my baby, my husband, my love. I don't mean that. I mean, I do, but I don't. I hate to say it, but I am just a girl. I am just a girl in this fucked up world. And I hate to say that. I really do, but it's true. You see Levi, this little short bitch, okay? And he's just kicking fucking ass. Do you understand how relieved I was when he lived? When he made it all the way to the end? The absolute fucking, like, glee that I felt despite him being maimed and paralyzed and, like, fucking missing fingers, the way that he was just sitting there like handing out a lollipop to a child, I cried. I'm not gonna lie to you, I cried from like the time that the second movie was like halfway over until the end. I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, when Zeke started rambling about, I'm sorry, I'm losing all train of thought. We're just gonna keep going. When Zeke started rambling about, well, what's the meaning of life? We're all just floating around. We're all just fucking meat sacks on this rock floating around. Um, and Armin was like, dude, what? Literally, shut up. Life is not about the big picture. It's about the small things that make up the big picture. Dude, I'm gonna cry right now thinking about it. I don't know why this anime was so profound to me, but it was just like, holy shit, like, yes, that's so true. And I know it's like such a basic thing, right? Like, appreciate the small things. But Armin, like, put it so beautifully. He was like, I don't know, the breeze was so nice. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but the breeze was so warm and nice. And then I just thought to myself, what if I was born to race up this hill with Eren and Mikasa? Is that not fucking beautiful? Like the innocence of like childhood and just thinking like, yes, like my life equates to this one small moment with my friends. And that is just so like so touching. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. Oh my god, I'm crying. But like loving two people that much to where you would be like, yes, like I this is it. Like, this is what life is about. And then Zeke sees the baseball and he's like, oh my God, we weren't just throwing the ball back and forth doing nothing. That's not what it's really about. No, it's not just about throwing the ball back and forth doing nothing. It's about the action and the way it makes you feel and your time with this person that you love. It's just. And then Zeke said, I guess maybe euthanization wasn't the right move because I'd be born all over again if it meant playing catch with you. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's just so like, oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. Sorry, I'm really passionate about this. It's just so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I don't know. It was just so simple. So simple and so heartbreaking that it was like, fuck, dude. Like, yes, this is what it's about. And I just think, like, that's just so touching that like this stupid anime about like titans and like obviously the titans are a metaphor for 100 other things, but titans and like and oppression and horrible shit is just also so beautiful that it's like we've been through all these horrible things. And that's the other thing I want to talk about too. That's the other thing. Every single person in that world has suffered immensely. And I think the problem is with people is that you get so focused on what your struggles are and what you're going through that sometimes you forget like, oh yeah, other people are going through the same shit if not worse shit than I am. And they're still carrying on and they're still persevering. And I think that's like a big part of Attack on Titan 2 is realizing that like not a single one of them had like a good, quote, good life. You know what I mean? There were definitely like good, beautiful moments like Armin and Aaron and Mikasa running up the hill and looking at pictures of the sea and the volcanoes. Or Zeke playing baseball with his dad. Or fucking Levi like hanging out with Kenny. Like all of these beautiful moments that were ripped away from them because of the selfishness and the horror of the world that they live in. And it's just like it just makes perfect sense why Aaron would end up the way that he did. And again, I am not condoning genocide, but I'm saying it makes sense that eventually you reach a point where you're like, I I just fuck, dude, you know? And it's just so touching. I don't know. And I also think I just want to talk about this too. When we're talking about Ymir, the founder Ymir, and Aaron was like, I couldn't understand why she loved King Fritz. It's like, well, he was really the only person who ever like paid her any attention, and all she wanted from when she was a child was just to be accepted and like free. And I think just because you have the power of a god, someone can make you feel so insignificant, and you can still like, she had Stockholm syndrome obviously, but also like somebody can make you feel so insignificant that the power that you have doesn't even fucking matter because it's not yours, right? It's his power that he's using her for. I don't know. I just think like it's so fucked up that both Aaron and Ymir had their childhoods ripped from them for this purpose of trying to save the world from this thing that's never going to go away. And this horrible huge thing they did ended up being so insignificant that it didn't even fucking matter because it's just, I mean, I know I'm going in circles, but that's just like so true that if that happened in real life, if we started dropping bombs and doing all this other shit, what is that going to solve other than just facilitating hate? And I hate to get political, but you know what I mean. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to say something here that maybe not everybody agrees with, but I fucking hated Sasha. Okay, I did. And then she died and I felt like I died. I don't know how to explain it. It was like Sasha, because okay, in the anime, I haven't read the manga. I want to, but I haven't read the manga, so bear with me. But in the anime, like I know that they have been working together for years, right? Like 9 years at the point that Sasha dies. But before that, like 5, right? They've been together this whole time, training, building their strength together. They're literally a family. At the end of the day, they really are a family. And so like it makes sense for them to be devastated, but for me it's like, okay, well Sasha just like eats all the time and is like sort of dumb. I don't know. And it's like I couldn't really get attached to her the same way that I could like John, because he had like his own little thing going on where he was like, fuck, oh god, I need to go into the scouts, fuck my life. And he was like really upset because his sense of duty was just like more than his selfishness. And I think that's so beautiful because this is another thing. Aaron was in the scouts for like completely selfish reasons, right? He like wants to save his mom. He wants to save Armin and Mikasa. His bubble is so tiny. But then for John and Mikasa and Armin, it's not just about Aaron. It's about the world, and that's why Mikasa being able to like love Aaron, oh god, love Aaron enough to like kill him to save him from his own selfish greed is just oh, I can't even talk about it. I can't even talk about it. I'm going to throw up. She wasn't a slave to her love like Ymir. That's why she was able to like kill Aaron or whatever. It's just like I don't understand how you can like watch that show and not be so moved. Like if I ever encounter I'm so serious. If I ever encounter anybody on Earth who says that Attack on Titan is mid, I think I'll actually explode. I think I'll fucking combust. That show literally like changed something within my psyche. I can't explain it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense, right? Because it's like, okay, well it's an anime and it's like old and it's like oldish, but because the movie just came out in 2023, but you know what I mean. Like it's old. It's like, you know, people have been watching it since they were kids. Okay, yeah, fuck you. Like that show literally like changed me. Okay, it changed me as a person. It changed my genetic makeup, and you could never understand. You could never understand what I'm on. Anyway, back to Levi. Back to Levi. Let's lighten the mood here. Levi is absolutely like, I don't know how to explain it. He's just everything to me. He's literally everything to me. The way that he like he's just naturally talented and he's a great leader. He gives them all like room to grow while also keeping them completely disciplined, which is like super fucking important because otherwise you get chuds like Aaron, because Aaron was literally basically allowed to do whatever he wanted because his power so far surpassed everybody else's just from him being able to turn into a Titan, that he did not have nearly the same amount of discipline that everybody else had. But I guess you could argue the opposite, that because Aaron had so much power, he had more. But I don't know. I think Aaron was selfish and kind of reckless with his power at times. And it costed a lot of people a lot of lives. But he claims it's the only way. But I think that, if the founder can do anything, why can't she just make it so they're immune to the injections and they can't turn into Titans? I literally said that. I don't know why we couldn't just do that. Like, why couldn't we just save Ymir without? I don't know. Whatever. Let's not discuss the what ifs. Let's just get back to Levi. Levi's story is sad and makes me upset. He literally could rely on nobody, and his mom died right in front of him, and who knows how long he was sitting down in that room. And it just like, I don't know. Like something about that just is really sad to me because I love Levi. I think he's a great character. And it's not just because I think he's hot, but that does help. It does. It does. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Also, Hanj. Hanj was literally my queen from day one. As soon as I saw that bitch, I said, "You're it. Like, you are it. I love you. You're everything." And then Levi, I know he was in love with her. I don't need it to be canon. I do not need it to be canon because it's my head canon that they were in love, and I don't care. No amount of money could ever change my mind. I just want to be 100% clear. No amount of money could ever change my mind that Levi Ackerman was not absolutely fucking in love with Zoe Hanj. I don't care. Fuck you if you disagree. Suck an egg, because they were and they did and they are and they always will be. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just, oh my god, it just makes me upset, dude. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. But Levi is just, he's everything. He's everything. He was talented and he was the only one who I felt like never got like selfish. And I know that's like crazy to say because he's like beating people up and like running around and being kind of an asshole, but like really he was doing everything for somebody else basically the entire time. Like I don't really think there was a time where he was like, man, this is for me. Like everything he did for someone else. Like he killed the Beast Titan when he was basically dead. Like he was like, he had, you know what I mean, when he like got his leg bitten and he had like all that shit going on in the final battle and he chopped off Zeke's head. It's like he did that to carry out his last order to Erwin just because he was like so like loyal and like, I don't know. Levi literally lost everybody he loved too. That's the thing. He didn't just lose like one or two people. No, Levi actually lost like everybody. He lost Hanj, he lost Erwin, he lost Kenny, he lost his entire squad because of Aaron. I can't even like begin to imagine that. And then like the same thing with Reiner and Annie and Bert. I'm gonna call him Bert. Fuck you. All of them were trained from babies like Aaron to just mindlessly kill and be oppressive to people that they've never met. And so then when they came over on the island and they met the devils and they were just regular people, can you imagine like the damage that did? I mean, it fucked Reiner up so bad he had like multiple personality disorder, dude. It was like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just their world is just so dystopian that I feel like I could never like look at Attack on Titan and be like, no, this is mid. No, it's not mid. It's actually peak, and you should die if you could disagree. Sorry, that's mean, but you know what I mean. It's just crazy to me. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even. I'm just like so flustered right now. I finished the show yesterday. I've been thinking about this nonstop today. I mean, I woke myself up in a fucking panic like 3 times. And I cried while recording this. So you know I mean it. You know I mean it. Quigley is nothing if not obsessive. Sorry. My fault, gang. I think like I don't know. There's just so much to get through and not enough time, but I'm just gonna rant and rave some more about how I feel about the show without discussing. I don't know. I can't. I just the way that Attack on Titan is like paced in the anime is so like I know everybody got like upset because there's like a whole chapter at the end where Armin and Aaron are like in the sea of blood like talking and Armin's like I'll see you in hell, the next time we see each other we'll be in hell. Horrible, by the way. Cried like a baby, but anyway, I know everybody was mad because that was like drawn out more in the manga than it was in the anime. But I actually really didn't mind the pacing, and I don't know if that's because I never saw or I never read the manga. Like if I read the manga, would I have felt differently? But I think the end where they are in that little dreamscape of Aaron's, and Aaron's just telling Armin like, dude, I'm sorry that I did this to all of you, and also I love you, and I love Mikasa, and this was the only way I knew how to save everybody. Oh God, it's making me cry again. It was just so sad, and Armin was like, ugh. The significance of the shell was actually crazy because he was like, "Oh, you finally saw it, huh? It's been on our feet this whole time, but you were too busy looking in the distance." It's just like, oh my God, that was Aaron's problem from. I'm literally crying. That was Aaron's problem from the beginning, was that he was so fucking focused on the future that he forgot to enjoy the now, you know? Oh God, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. I just think I just think that Attack on Titan is actually like I'm not kidding. I am not joking when I say this. I actually think it's like a work of art. That sounds so fucking ridiculous, but I'm being so deadly serious. I am so passionate about this, dude. I could like give a TED talk. It wouldn't make any sense. It would be this me rambling, but holy shit. I decided I didn't want to do like bullet points because I was like, that's stupid. I'm just gonna rant and rave, and somebody will watch this at some point and be like, this bitch knows this bitch gets it. She gets it. And if I were watching this content and I wasn't the one making it, I would sit the fuck down and listen because any person who's gonna ramble this much has an opinion worth hearing, I think, even if it's not one I agree with. But I digress. I digress. I don't even want to talk about Irwin. I think that he was absolutely insane in like a good way, when it's all of his gambling stuff. And I think him dying was probably like the best course of action because realistically, he probably would have just killed like a lot more people trying to like stop Aaron or whatever. And he would have just ended up killing more people than was necessary. And I know I say that as if Aaron didn't kill 80% of the population, but you know what I mean, okay? You get my point, so don't pretend that you don't. And I also think, oh God, I also think that I don't know. Keith shot us at the end of the fucking movie when him and Commander frickin' Magath or whatever go down into the hull of the ship and fucking blow it up, dude. I was pissed off. I loved that weird bald man, and now he's fucking dead. Oh my god, before I go, before I depart, the most out of pocket thing actually in that entire show was when that weird old man who was like the general or whatever like shoved a funnel into that guy's asshole. Like I just think like that being just like pushed away and never spoken about again was like probably the most unhinged thing that I've seen in a while with love, but definitely. I've ranted and raved for 25 minutes, cried several times. I think I should just wrap this up and say this. If you've never watched Attack on Titan or read the manga and you watched this and I spoiled all this shit for you, you actually just ruined like an insane experience. And I mean that because when I watched it, I didn't know anything about it. Literally nothing, which is such a rare thing. It's just I was never really had any interest in anime until recently. So for me, like it was a fresh virgin experience that I got to enjoy, and I it makes me sad that I'll never be able to like experience that again. You know what I mean? Like I'll never be able to have that experience in my life. And so if you watch this and you plan on reading it or you plan on watching it and you watch this, you just ruined something so beautiful for yourself. And if you have watched this or you have read it and your opinion's different than mine and you'd like to discuss, please feel free. But just know I'm very stubborn. Much like Aaron, I have a lot of his same flaws. I'm very stubborn and I'm very selfish and I'll die on this hill. But I know it was cringe of me to start crying and ranting and raving, but I needed to get this off my chest, and all of my friends said this would be a good way to do so. So I'm posting this to the internet forever so that anybody can see it because my digital footprint can suck an egg. But anyway, for real, I'm just really grateful and thankful for the experience of watching Attack on Titan, which I know is so ridiculous to say, to thank an anime, but genuinely, like, it just impacted me very deeply. And to find a piece of media like that at all, for me, is pretty rare. So, especially in anime. So, I really feel like very blessed to have experienced it at all. Um, I also think that it's absolutely fucking fantastic. Like if you want to get into anime, actually watch Attack on Titan because it is so fucking phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. Um and the see you later Aaron at the end absolutely destroys my heart and I can't talk about it anymore, but there are so many things that if I watch it again, I know I'm going to be like holy shit. But I do not have the emotional capability to do so yet. So if I ever rewatch, maybe I'll refilm, maybe I'll re-record this and talk about my second walkthrough opinions. But it's just, dude, it's just so peak. I don't know. I don't know. Next, coming up, this weekend, I'm gonna watch Full Metal, Alchemist Brotherhood with my friends. So after I'm done with that, perhaps I'll share my feelings on that. I also have a lot of feelings on Smeagol, from Lord of the Rings. So if anybody would like to hear my thoughts on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, specifically Smeagol, please leave it in the comments because I would love to rant and rave. I love ranting and raving, and you know, people love to listen to shit when they're not doing nothing. So think of this sort of as my own personal outlet of things that I need to get off my chest. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just infatuated. See you later, Aaron. Oh my god. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Ugh. I don't want to talk about how I felt about their romance at the beginning of the show, so just bear with me. Bear with me. That's the other thing. Oh, I also hated Mikasa for like 95% of the show, but then when she bossed up at the end and she cut off Aaron's head and she was able to like put her love for him into something actually productive, I actually like fell in love with her and now I love her and I need her in my life. Um sorry, maybe that's controversial, but it was just really nice to see. Like, I wasn't expecting her to do it. I wasn't expecting her to do it. I really wasn't. So I'm just really happy that she could. Anyway, if you've listened, thank you. And if I ruined Attack on Titan for you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.